Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm going to be doing a new cohab video for those of you who are interested in the idea of cohabbing your corn snakes or housing your corn snakes together, whatever. When you house your snakes together, you want to make sure you follow a few tricks of the trade because a lot of breeders will tell you that it's not recommended you house your corn snakes together because they'll say you have to worry about cannibalism and so on and so forth. Well, there's a few tricks that you can apply to your cohabbing that could actually greatly decrease the chances of it happening. And I've never seen anything negative come out of it. I've housed hatchlings, juveniles, adults together, and everything. But I think part of my success is due to having my snakes cohabbed from a young age on. So the three adults I have in here are Onyx, my anery ghost, and Ruby's also in here. She's my amel. And then up here, I have my pewtercorn Amy, or also known as amethyst. So some things you want to keep in mind when you are setting up a tank for multiple snakes is in the case that you have adults. I have mine in a 50-gallon breeder tank. You want to make sure you have at least one hide for every snake that you have in the tank. So as you can see, I have my log hide. Amy has decided she wanted to make the vinery across the top of my tank a hide as well, so she's kind of taken a favoritism to that. And along with my wood, there is kind of a little moss hut crafted out of that. None of them have taken a liking to the moss. Amy usually sits up there, and Onyx and Ruby tend to hang out in there. I've seen Ruby in here a few times, but with that said, you want to have one hide for every snake in the habitat. That way, if they decide they're being stressed out by the other one too much or each other at all, they can just relocate and go to a different hide. But with that said, you want to make sure you have enough space so that none of them are on top of each other all the time if they can't handle it or handle it in any way, shape, or form. And with that said, the tricks to feeding. When you feed, I recommend you feed outside of your tank anyways by default. But you want to make sure you feed all of your corn snake. You want to make sure you feed all your corn snakes on the same day, because you don't want to have any lingering around that might be really hungry or anything like that. So feed them regularly. I feed mine once every 7 days. You can feed them once every 10 to 14 if your snakes are completely full-sized. These guys still got probably about another foot, maybe a foot to go, and probably another 200 grams, give or take, I think. But with that said, you want to feed them separately in tubs and everything. A lot of people will tell you that this is stressful for them. If you have all the hide options and they still continue to do this, obviously it's not stressing them out too much. Because if they have the options, they won't stay in a stressful environment. But with that said, you also want to make sure all of your snakes are roughly the same size. Onyx, my male, as far as weight, he doubles the female's weights. He weighs in at 600 something grams, whereas my females weigh in at about 260 for Amy, and about I want to say Ruby's about 300. She's at a legitimate breeding size now. That's more comfortable for them and a little bit safer. So make sure they're all the same size, just so none of them can identify each other as prey or an easy meal, I guess you could say. But with that said, if you're gonna cohab more than maybe two, you don't want to have males together around a female. So don't do a two males to one female ratio, because come breeding season, once they start getting older, I want to say about a year and a half in, when the males are old enough to mate, they won't get into some big gory blood fight or anything like that, but they will, however, engage in a mating competition of dominance where they'll they'll tie up their tails together, and then the males will they'll spend their time trying to pin one another's head to assert dominance. But I still wouldn't recommend doing that, just because obviously it's not wise to have two males getting aggressive with each other in any way. So if you're going to cohab, I recommend only one male to the tank, and then maybe 2 or 3 females. The girls don't care. They don't care about mating. They're not going to trip over anything. Some people will tell you just to house females together and have no male at all, because they say the male will stress out the female come mating season. They'll antagonize them a lot. I haven't had any issues with that, and I've been housing Onyx and Ruby together since they were a month old. And Ruby laid a clutch of slugs last year, or a year and a half ago, and then this last season she laid a fertile clutch of it was a clutch of 12 eggs, 4 were slugs. 4 I lost because I had a really bad temperature spike in my apartment, which is why my vent is closed in my bedroom now. And the other 4 came out a snow, an anery, and 2 classics. But I haven't seen any issues with having male and female housed together. But like I said, just don't house multiple males together. You can house as many females as you really want together, as long as you monitor their tendencies and everything. Like you really need to pay attention to your snakes if you haven't had them from like hatchling up and you haven't been housing them together from that early on up to adulthood. I would recommend paying attention, because there's a good chance that they might not be accustomed to being housed together if you bought an adult from someone. So with that said, you want to monitor that for about 2 months, 3 maybe, and make sure that there's no signs of stress or anything, because you do need to get to know the snake in order to understand when they're stressed out and everything. But with that all said and done, if you're housing babies together, like I am in the tank just next door. Let me get this back on here real quick and set their light and their heat lamp up. Ow, burned myself. Okay. If you have hatchlings together, in this tank right now, I actually have my future breeding pairs mixed matched right now, because one of my female Hera didn't eat this last time. And right here is my female Snow Aphrodite. She's about 2.5 months old, give or take. I haven't weighed her. I haven't really worried too much about weighing them in yet. And then over here is my male Snow, Zeus. And like I said, my breeding pairs are actually swapped up right now, because Hera didn't eat this last time, so I don't want her around Zeus, because Zeus is a good bit smaller. So that's why I have Zeus and Aphrodite together right now. But I've noticed with hatchlings, they take a liking to hiding around their water dish a lot, especially especially their first month or so out, because it's a really tight, nuzzled space, and it makes them feel safe. But here you have Ares, who is my Tessera. As you can see, he's a little plump right now because he just ate recently. But I have him housed with Hera right now, because him and Hera are about the same size. As you can see right there, they're about the same size. And in the off chance that something happened and Hera decided she wanted to get like all feisty and hungry, Ares is plenty big enough to take care of himself. I haven't had any signs of any aggression whatsoever out of any of the snakes, but it's more so a precautionary measure, just in case, you know what I mean. You don't want to lose a baby or anything like that, just because you didn't want to play the what if scenario. Because otherwise, if Hera had eaten like she was supposed to, they would actually all be housed in here together right now. Usually Zeus will take a liking to either the water dish or the rock, and then one or two of the two girls will usually take to the hide, and then Ares will usually hide under the water dish as well. But with that all said, it's all about having a variety of hides if you're going to house multiple snakes together. Make sure you feed them separately, feed them in containers. feed them all the same day. Make sure they're all roughly the same size. Make sure you have a nice tank that is set up to accommodate multiple snakes so they're not on top of each other or stressing out. And with that all said and done, obviously I wouldn't recommend housing snakes of different species together. If they breed, you can probably get away with it. You could probably get away with pairing an adult corn snake with an adult rat, because it's been recorded to have corn snakes hit bigger sizes than rat snakes and vice versa. Rats normally get bigger, but you can probably get away with that, or pairing up a corn snake with something else, kind of like a... I wouldn't recommend a bull snake. People crossbreed them, but I wouldn't recommend it because there's rumors of bull snakes having a diet of snakes as well. Or, I don't know if it's necessarily a rumor. But with that said, don't cohab or house different snake species together unless they cross in the wild. Is the only time I'd say you might get away with it, is if they cross in the wild and they do live together in the wild and neither of them are cannibalistic. Like, don't pair a king snake with a corn snake. I'm sorry, you guys. The corn snake will eventually get eaten, because the king snake will get a good bit bigger eventually. So even if they're the same size at a certain age, don't do it after that king snake hits the same size. I wouldn't recommend doing it ever. But with that all said and done, I wanted to give you guys a better update video for housing your corn snakes together, because originally my video was shot in this, and because I hadn't built it up vertically to have multiple pads and stuff for the snakes to hang out on, it was not accommodating multiple snakes like I'm telling you guys it needs to. So with that said, I'm probably going to take down my old video and everything. If you subscribe to me, I'll subscribe back. You comment me, I will always respond to my comments. But because I do it all on phone, you're going to have to check the video periodically just to see if I respond to you. And if you like my stuff, awesome, kudos, and I'll return the favor. Just tell me, because a lot of this is done on my phone, so I can't check who liked my stuff, and I can't check who my specific subscribers are right now. I need to get a new computer because my computer is garbage. But with that said, take it easy, you guys. Hopefully this was an informative video for you, and I look forward to shooting new ones for you later on. Later.